going back to the beginning, he was christened John Mott. And the Brooklyn Eagle at that time, he was born in Brooklyn, had a comic strip called Little Tad. And the baby, my mother and father, looked at him, and he looked exactly like the baby in the comic strip. So they started calling him Little Tad. And as they grew older, they dropped the little, and he was Tad for the rest of his life. We didn't get along too well when we were small. And I remember one time sitting in the back seat of a car called the Dort. And I don't know whether that car ever survived. But Tad and I were sitting pretty close together. And I complained. And I said, "Mom, he's breathing on me." And Mom told me to move. Later on, when I was about 10, we were both at Camp McQuam's up in the northern Vermont, near the Canadian border. And the counselor, for some reason, was very mean to new campers. And he told me to get the key to the oarlocks. Well, I knew what oarlocks were. You needed them to row a boat. But I never knew there was anything had a key. And so the counselor told me, just ask people. Everybody knows where the key is. So I asked people, and they all laughed at me. And I didn't know what to do then. So I was scared, and I was very homesick. And I started to cry, and I cried. And Tad came along and said, "Who hit you? Who hit you?" I remember later on, when I was about 12 or 13, he invited me to join a touch football game they were having in a neighbor's yard. And I was a complete klutz when it came to sports, so I was really thrilled to be asked to play. And Tad threw a pass, and I caught it, and I scored a touchdown. And that was a great moment in my life. And I remember it still this day, all the detail. Shortly after that, we started piano lessons. And the piano teacher was a friend of my mother's. And my mother came around after about 2 weeks to find out how we were doing. And so I was doing okay, and the conversation turned to my brother, and the teacher said, "Gladys, don't waste your money." 1937, my parents bought a farm at the northern end of the Catskills. It was a derelict, really, and it was 85 acres, 3 barns, a chicken house, and a house that was built in 1812. So it was falling apart. Everything was falling apart. And Tad and I both remembered that my parents paid $2,000 for the farm. But they spent a hell of a lot more than that. Then came high school. Tad started looking at girls quite seriously. And 9th grade, there was a girl named Carol. In 10th grade, it was a girl named Irene. And 11th grade, along came Pauline. And she was Linda Dale and Lee's mother later on, quite a bit later on. But Tad was really floored. She just blew him away. And she was a good student. She was in my class. But his marks were going down, down, down. And so my parents decided to send him away to a private school called Blair Academy in New Jersey. And he spent 1 year there, got straight A's, in contrast to the high school, and he got into Dartmouth, which was a perfect fit for him. Then Crane Pearl Harbor, and he got into the Navy. It was a Navy program, and he went to midshipman school at Columbia. He and Pauline were still close, and they started an expedited wedding plan, because she had to do during the war. And he was going to be ensign Freycinet when he got out. But he looked at the wedding invitations, and the wedding invitations said ensign Freycinet, and he wasn't an ensign because he hadn't graduated yet, and he was floored. But fortunately, very fortunately, he got out of the Navy, out of the midshipman school, and was an ensign about 2 days before the wedding. He was then on a patrol craft that escorted the ships, the convoys from New York or Bermuda, going up to Newfoundland, where other ships took over. Job was to guide and to guard the convoys from German submarines. And he did that for 3 years. But fortunately, he went down and to Bermuda quite often to get the convoys. And he liked that because Pauline was there, which is not a bad place to be having a honeymoon, indeed. Tad was proud of his children, Linda and Lee, and the late Patrick. And he was proud also of Bob and Nick and Rhonda. He's proud of his 10 grandchildren and his 3 great-grandchildren. Outside of my wife, Joan, without whom I wouldn't be here at all, Tad was my best friend, and a long time